a month till Capcom. I suppose I better buy some stuff and get cracking, really. Okay, let's see if you can guess what I'm making. This is going to be a photo op type thing for a Comic-Con. Anyway, I've started off with these lengths of wood here that I've cut down to the right sizes they need to be. I've also cut some and added them as like a lip to this big sheet of ply. Marking out and pre-drilling all the holes is essential, so that way you don't split the wood, because if you screw straight into it you split the wood, but more importantly so everything lines up correctly. So these are those wooden beam things all screwed together, and they are essentially the legs. This is all upside down at the moment. Stand back a bit, you have a little look. It looks kind of like some sort of weird cage, but imagine it flipped the other way up, and they're essentially the legs. Yes, it's probably a little bit overkill and a little bit too heavy duty, but this has got to have people laying on it. I don't want it to collapse. I was going to screw these together, but if I do that, then that will make this section here, its height is going to be, I think, too wide to fit through a single sized door, and I don't like that in case venues have limited access. So what I'm going to do, instead of screwing them together, is I'm going to use some hinges so that this part here can flap inwards and then be held in place, I hope, with a bolt. But that will depend on where that folds in relation to one of these. I might need to add an extra piece of wood somewhere. Well, I guess maybe I could put the bolt at the top. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. Right, got hinges on in that corner and this corner. And now, hopefully, all you have to do is go whack, and that folds in. When this chisel out the way, and that will sit flush with this, meaning that this is now skinny enough to be lifted and will fit through a door, no problem. And then setting this up will be a breeze, because you just fold these out. I may add bolts or something here to keep this aligned, but first thing I want to do is add those bolts to the middle of this, so that way when you are carrying it, it's not going to swing about. So I'm probably going to stick a bolt somewhere in here to keep that from opening up. Right, I probably should have showed you this before I took it off the table, but whatever. I've put a bolt down there, and that's to keep this from being able to open up while you're carrying it, or when it's in the back of the van. And it's as easy as flip that over there, and then that opens up easier than your mum's legs. Lovely jubbly. Those pieces are now neatly stacked away there, so that's how flat they're going to fold, which is pretty cool. I'm now drawing out the side panels. Just going to cut those out of a jigsaw. Jesus, what's going on with my hair? Anyways, I've cut the thing out. And instead of doing all those measurements again, I'm going to do the clever thing of just draw around it on the other thing. But I don't want it to wobble about. I suppose I should probably stick that down. Some of these bad boys. Draw around it, and then I can cut out another one. I'll have two. I've offered this one up to that, make sure it is actually the right size, because oftentimes you measure these things, you measure them twice, you cut the thing out, and then you find out you've messed up somewhere. And these sheets are quite expensive, so yeah, I've made sure this one was good before I'm going to do the next one. So I'll do that now. I'm going to cut that out with the jigsaw again. Now, before I cut this out, this is a huge piece of wood. I could just have bits of it overhanging the table, but then when you say this piece here, for example, if I'm going to cut around here and up here, when I get to this bit here, the weight of this might just snap it off, and it will ruin my little corner and the whole piece of wood. So keeping it flat and supported is easier. So what I've done, as I said with this piece here, I've put this like lip thing around it. I need to add some supporting struts in the middle here, but I've not done that yet. So I've got a massive recessed area, and I can move these bits of wood around and strategically place them to offer support to all the pieces, keeping enough clearance of the blade, of course, so that way when I cut these pieces out, they don't try and fall down and snap the last little inch or so of wood. It worked really well for the first one, so I'm going to do that again with this one. And this is where we're at so far. So I've screwed those side panels on. I need to add a few more bits just to dress this up before it's ready to paint. And then there's another element to this I need to build. I'm really happy with how sturdy this is. I weigh about 105 kilos and I can jump up and down on it and it doesn't wobble or creak or anything. and literally like a minute or two later it is back in the shed again. That's it for today. I've literally, last thing I did was mark off a couple of things. I've got to make some holes and stuff, so it's really just dressing it up now before I can get started on the next bit. Question is, can you tell what it is yet? Until next time.